And also later, I got into Jungian depth analysis. So Carl Jung was a psychologist, and he wrote something called the Red Book. So in the book club, I read the Red Book. It took 6 months to read it together. There were many other, there were Jungian psychoanalysts in that book club. So it was very interesting because part of Jung's deep work was dream analysis. So he would write down his dreams, he would draw the dreams, and he would interpret them. He has a method for interpreting dreams and also for meditating with your dreams. So later you can meditate and call back your dream and call back the figures from your dream and meditate with that and to understand the messages better from the dream. And so that was also a very important part because Jung's world is very metaphorical, it's very archetypal. And so, for example, if a lion appears in your dream, you can then meditate and talk to the lion and understand what is the lion's message. So it's very archetypal, but this creates kind of a magic in the world because you start to understand the meaning of animals and why would you happen to see certain animals on certain days, especially if you don't see those animals usually. What does it mean? And you start to get more meaning from life by paying attention to what is happening.
Yeah, it feels like an expanded reality. Suddenly everything has a deeper meaning rather than just what we see at first.
Yes, so there is the physical reality which you see, but then you start to get meaning from what you see. So if you see like an unusual animal that you don't usually see, maybe a butterfly, you can go months without seeing a butterfly, and then on one day you see a butterfly, but it matches something that's happening with you, some kind of transformation, and the butterfly appears, and it's kind of like a wink from the universe saying, oh, you see, this is what's happening with you, and here's a sign. And so it creates kind of a more magical reality when you start to see these things. So, of course, I'm not going to say that science can prove any of this, but it does create a more interesting life when you start to notice these things. And so through all this work, I started to get some breakthroughs, especially around my patterns. And it just started to change my own behavior because I could see where my patterns were coming from. And I could then choose with this awareness to change those behaviors.